talking about how to love what you do. In my previous video, I spoke about why I think hypnotherapy students and hypnotherapists just kind of love and are attracted to the field of hypnotherapy. Do go watch that if you've not done so already. But I spoke about this love that people in the hypnotherapy field have for the field and the reasons that I believe that it happens, and shared some of my own reasons. And since then, I've heard from a lot of hypnotherapists, and I've been talking to them about how to develop their businesses, how to earn more money, what to do in order to grow their business, how to do more of what they love within their business rather than stressing and worrying and becoming overwhelmed with all of the stuff that they believe they need to do. And so today, it kind of made sense for me to follow on from that video. And that's the thing with the field of hypnotherapy. Virtually every hypnotherapist I spoke to told me of his or her love for doing the actual hypnotherapy and working with clients. But very few shared my love of developing one's hypnotherapy business. But heck, that's a discussion for another day. There's a classic expression that's often used in personal development circles and within the field of self-improvement. There's this idea, do what you love and you'll never work another day in your life. And it seems to make a lot of sense initially. And in theory, if you are loving what you're doing each and every day, then it doesn't seem like work. And on many occasions since I began working in the field of hypnotherapy, way back in 1997, I've commented that it feels like I do my hobby each day. I teach, I train, I research, I write about, and I get to therapeutically share my chosen field, which is one that I absolutely love. And when we spend so much of our time in our working role, it's going to influence our lives greatly, if we love what we do. So many of us have been told at one point in our life or another, do what you love. And while that's a noble aspiration to agree with, it's sometimes just as important to flip the equation and figure out how to love what you do, or just to like it a bit more. I'm not suggesting that you just stay doing something that you loathe or that makes you unhappy. But everything that we do can be made more enjoyable, or we can take control of how we react to it and engage with it. Additionally, if you're doing what you love, it doesn't mean you'll always love what you do. You can have days where, and perhaps sometimes longer periods of time where you may feel bored or stressed or stuck. Every professional pursuit of love presents challenges and stressors from time to time. And it's not just set in stone that we love it the same way forever. Sometimes you may feel that you aren't advancing in your career quickly enough. Sometimes you may feel like you are in over your head. Other times you may get sick to the stomach of the amount of pseudo-scientific bullcrap that gets associated with your field by the ill-informed and those who perpetuate nonsense. Though that one, might just be me getting a tad carried away there and venting. So on this journey of ups and downs, I think it's first important to do what you love. Doing what you love starts you down a good path. But it's even more important to then learn to love what you do. And there is a difference. You see, in this way, a career is a bit like a marriage, We marry who we fall in love with, but that event it's only the beginning. We have to choose to stay in love with our beloved ones, with our thoughts and our actions every day. We marry who we love, and then we need to love who we marry. Keeping a marriage and maintaining it requires some dedication, some ongoing consideration, effective communication, and so much more. I'd need to record a major series of videos to do that subject justice, and I'm certainly no expert. That's why I'm not talking about it. But it's when people take their marriage for granted, or stop working on it, or just expect it to be the same all by itself as life goes on. And that's when the issues occur with it. And there's a number of ways that you can derive much more consistent enjoyment from what it is that you do. And I think initially, and perhaps on an ongoing basis, you create a vision and some days are more enjoyable than others. To consistently love what you do, you need to have a clear vision of what you want to accomplish. According to Simon Sinek, we need to start with a why, and we need a why that goes beyond today. When we have a quality vision, we become an individual that is on a mission. And that fuels, it inspires, it drives us. And in turn, that promotes the love that we have for it. Many help stimulate their vision with vision boards of some kind. There's no right or wrong way to create a vision board, by the way. Our brains typically tend to be wired to be inspired by what we consistently see. And visuals and images stir our emotions to make sure that our thoughts are being flavored, reminded, and stimulated. And in turn, they go to work to make our visions a reality. Having a vision requires awareness of oneself too. You cannot be responsible for the things that you're not aware of. So when you create a vision for yourself, you need it to be underpinned with self-awareness and an awareness of one's own thoughts and your bias and your processes. And so we have this kind of expansive long-term vision, but we also want to set effective short-term goals. It's important to have this long-term vision for what you want to accomplish. But it's easy to get sidetracked and frustrated if you don't have a more concrete plan for getting from here to there. Setting short-term goals helps you focus on how your daily activities contribute to your grand vision. Now, a study that I quote a lot by McKinsey at Oxford University back in 2012 found that breaking long-term projects into smaller, short-term projects is effective in achieving success. And these short-term goals, they're easily managed. They're modified to accommodate any changes, or they're paused altogether. And the evidence base regarding goals tends to suggest, they should be written down, they should have enough challenge to make them demanding and worthwhile, but not too challenging that they're stress-inducing. Now, you guys that are hypnotherapists, you know this stuff. And that is that with those goals in place, you perhaps put a motivation review together regarding them, write up all the reasons you wish to accomplish the goals and remind yourself of the reward that awaits you upon accomplishment of them. And importantly, you celebrate milestones on the way. Looking to the future gets you refocused, ties the good feeling that you feel while you're celebrating milestones, and it makes the journey enjoyable. And I think this kind of step it's the key to getting the momentum of success rolling and done consistently. The pace will pick up, and you'll be rolling from one success to the next in quick succession. You'll become a veritable rolling snowball thundering down a mountainside, becoming an avalanche of success. If you'll excuse my metaphors here. So furthermore, it helps you recognize the progress that you've made, no matter how slow it can seem to be. Levi King, the CEO of Creditora, warns that there can be a danger to celebrating too much too early. Instead, celebrating milestones in simple yet meaningful ways is going to remind you of the progress that you're making. And celebrating our success builds enjoyment and it builds love into what we do, for sure. But I think also, and importantly, we must get over ourselves, really get over ourselves. Sometimes your daily lives get mundane or difficult because perhaps you're too focused on yourselves. You're worried about what you're getting out of your career and what other people are doing for you. So sometimes I recommend, focus on how you can make your clients, customers, peers and colleagues more successful too, raising them up. When you lose yourself in serving others to a certain extent, your success and happiness will often take care of itself, or aspects of it will take care of yourself. Certainly don't neglect yourself. But like the famous Zig Ziglar used to say, you can have everything in life you want if you'll just help enough other people get what they want. There's so much material out there to illustrate that by serving others, you go on to love what you do much more deeply. Upon lying on your deathbed, will you wish that you'd watched more television or played more video games? Or will you wish that you served more people, loved more people, spent more time being deeply present with other people. And I think, in order to really love what we do, we changed our way of thinking. We learn to relish problems and learn from them, not avoid them. We communicate effectively with ourselves. We adopt a progressive, supportive relationship with ourselves. Mindset is always going to affect the quality of our work and how we regard it. If you keep thinking that you don't really like an activity, it's going to be tough to enjoy it. Instead, you think of the long-term benefit that you're going to derive from the activity, or focus on the lovely interaction that you have with people during the day. Seek to benefit in some way from it. With anything, I start to convince myself that I don't enjoy, or that I struggle to find any inherent value in, I consider utilizing the time by being mindful while engaging in the activity and derive the benefits of that. And we be patient. It's good that we be patient. Accept that progress sometimes takes a bit of time. Attempting perfection or an ideal outcome is only likely when you've gone through some failure. So learn from those setbacks. Aim to do better. Don't beat yourself up if you fail. Learn from it. You only really fail if you quit. When you learn from your ongoing experience, it fuels this love for what you do, the sort of key part to the first half of today's video. And if you spend time with passionate people, be with people who are in the place you wish to be. Be with people who love what they do. Be with people who feel good to be around. Be with people who make you laugh and smile. Be with people that stimulate you. Be with people who support and encourage you. Be with people who are honest, with you and who tell you the truth. And work with people that have similar goals and drive and business ethics, Hang around with people who are passionate about the activities that they engage in and who share kind of similar goals to you. And they'll give you the energy to stay positive and even enjoy what you are doing. So, you share the love affair with your project, and that love grows exponentially. I talk about your project, that could be your business or your passion or whatever it is. And then along the way, we embrace change. Zen masters teach their students to meditate upon the beauty of impermanence, and the ancient Stoics would meditate upon similar notions, such as imagining life without certain people or elements within it, so that you understand the impermanence of life and you're ready for it. Embrace change before it becomes a necessity. Change stimulates, invigorates, and creates growth. And so I've been focusing today on how to maintain love for the path that you're on. However, sometimes it's simply time for a change. You rake up the leaves on the surface, let new shoots of life begin to sprout up and grow into something even more beautiful. Every year with the marathons, the ultra marathons that I compete in, I insist upon spending time on each run and training run, truly tuning into the experience, being mindful, taking in the experience and enjoying it for what it is, not just thinking in terms of what it'll do for me or when I'm going to cross the line. I've spent so many hours running in the last 25 years that a large section of my life would end up being meaningless if it was all just about how I fared in races or when I was crossing the line at events. The key to staying on the road to success is enjoying not only the destination but that journey. Of course, you know this. You're highly evolved people already. If the journey has too many barriers to overcome, this could cause you to break down or give up altogether. So we be realistic. We celebrate the victories. You pat yourself on the back every once in a while. You enjoy what you do and you work at rekindling your passion and igniting it regularly. And that kind of brings me on to the second sort of major part of what I'm talking about today. Earlier this year, I celebrated 21 years as a hypnotherapist. And it was last February. It marked the anniversary of me setting up my first hypnotherapy practice over 21 years ago. And my qualifications and professional memberships predate that, of course. But I set up my hypnotherapy practice 21 years ago. And I got plenty of congratulations for this milestone from people on LinkedIn. most of whom were clicking that automated congratulations button with no personalization whatsoever. And you know, those guys know how to make you feel special, appreciated, and wonderfully connected. I must say, and again, my penchant for sarcasm has not abated in the past 21 years either. You know, that's for sure. In the last 21 years, I've worked with a few thousand individuals one-to-one for hypnotherapy. I had a couple of best-selling books, sold a few 100,000 audio products, trained and taught hundreds of people, lectured to thousands, and I'm still here in this field. And despite some challenges and some struggles in those early days in particular, today I'm doing pretty well as far as I'm concerned, as far as, you know, what I want is concerned. And I recall on my 21st birthday, okay, I mean long time ago. I recall on my 21st birthday having that conversation with some of my other friends that there was now nothing left in terms of what I was legally permitted to do. You know, you can smoke from 16 in the UK, drink alcohol at 18, and at the time you could get an HGV license at the age of 21. So there was nothing left. I could now go and do whatever I chose within the confines of the law, of course. And we joked that the previous 21 years had been training, had been laying foundations for the day, this day that had arrived when we hit the age of 21 and we could then do what we wanted. And upon reflection, I feel a little bit like these first 21 years of my business have really only been setting foundations too. And I'd say that it's only been in recent times that I felt free within the field that I work within, that I'm free to dictate my own direction, express myself, follow what I truly believe. And I think in those early days I did not know enough or have enough experience or understanding to be the way that I am today within my business, which I'm really comfortable with and which I enjoy and which stimulates me. My business has a firm set of principles. It has a vision. It's been built upon an ethos that I feel strongly about. I think I probably could have earned much more money and been much more popular if I'd strayed from that ethos. But I'm pleased that I remained true to it as much as has been possible. You see, for me, longevity has been key. And I had a dream of being where I am today. And that is, you know, working for myself, having autonomy over my life, choosing the direction of my business with hypnotherapy and hypnosis, you know, at the heart of what I do, using it to help others in a wide range of ways. That was the dream. So, you know, in a sense, I'm living the dream. How funny that I'm saying that. I'm finding it funny anyhow. Whenever I set goals each year, you know, each new year, and commence on working on new projects, I remind myself that what I have now was once a dream I had, and I have a lot of gratitude for this. So earlier this year, I received a couple of messages from people who were around in those early days when I was starting out. And most of them are not actually working in this field any longer. And we discussed all the people who were prevalent at the time, the different types of communication we enjoyed back then, the marketing attempts. And it made me realize how much has changed and how few people have this true longevity of career in the hypnotherapy field. For anyone wanting to work as a hypnotherapist for a lengthy period of time, from nothing more than my own experience, in addition to all this talk about how to love what you do, I suggest for longevity of career, you do the following, or you have the following. That first of all, you have adaptability. When I was a boy, my dad was a member of the Round Table organisation. He was always a member of varying types of groups such as this. Then the phrase adopt, adapt, improve is a key facet of the organisation, almost like a motto, and it can be found on much of the Round Table literature and regalia. And it related to this idea of adopting methods that have proved effective in the past, adapting them to the changing times, and when it was possible to do so, improve them. And this always stuck with me. When we examine the history of hypnosis, we see such development, such change occurring, some turbulent times, some volatile times, and some real golden periods. Likewise, in just the years that I've been working in the field, I've seen a lot of change, not just in the way in which the field is perceived, but the way people develop a career in this field, and also the ways that people have navigated a business through recessions, uncertain times, and traversed or worked through bad publicity, myth and misconception. Being able to adapt has been key. adapt to the climate, adapt to the perceptions, and respond accordingly. Seriously, adopt, adapt, improve should be something that we all have at the heart of our hypnotherapy work with clients and with our businesses. And as well as adaptability, hard work. Hard work. Of course, we all want a quality of life that an effective business affords us. However, I think it's really tough to have a truly 4-hour work week, a la Tim Ferriss, when we're working one-to-one with clients in our consulting rooms each day. We also need to develop our businesses and refine what we do at other times. So of course, there's got to be some dedication, some discipline. Hard work, dedication, and discipline are not just themes of being productive. They also, they're about how we show up each day. How do we ensure that we are fully present with the people we engage with? How do we ensure we recover from what we do and rejuvenate regularly? How do we reflect upon what we do? How do we ensure that we do not burn out at the same time? So I recommend, working hard on your mood and the way in which you are in general. You'll be a good advertisement for what you do that way. But also, people will feel good around you. The people who've made the biggest impression upon me are those who make me feel good when I'm around them. As a hypnotherapist and as a professional business person, I think that is crucial. I think that's crucial, especially as a hypnotherapist. But we want to be having a love for the subject, have longevity of career. You've got to have a love for the subject, and everything is made easier when you love what you do. As I spoke about, in the first half of this video, before my wife and I had children, children changes a lot of things. I would take academic journals and textbooks, as well as sci-fi and fantasy novels, of course. But I'd take academic journals and textbooks with me on holidays with my wife because I loved reading about my subject so much. And I encounter numerous people who love the idea of being a hypnotherapist, but for a number of reasons, the reality of it doesn't live up to the kind of fantastical dreams or the ideal that they have or that they had. Often because they've not been able to develop a business, or because they're not getting the results they want with clients, or just that the reality of being in a therapy room, working with people who are ill, depressed, anxious, is not quite as romantic as it once seemed. For me, the love was kept strong, even at those times of struggle, and it saw me through. I have great curiosity. I have a mission that is well unfinished, and it fuels that love. And I've been speaking about that, so I shan't go on about it anymore. But I tap into that often, and I think it helps greatly. And this naturally leads to having enthusiasm. Being enthusiastic is one thing, but really ensuring people can feel and tune into your enthusiasm is something which fuels the business and also helps you individually. People say enthusiasm is contagious, and yes, I believe it is. Not just contagious to other people though, but it's also contagious to you and your days, your experience. If you're enthusiastic one day, there is a good likelihood that it's going to spread into other days too. And that enthusiasm will work its way into the way you communicate your business online, in real life, and it's going to influence you and others in numerous ways. And longevity of career requires humility, in my opinion. Being able to accept when I'm wrong, having made mistakes, or accept that I could do things better. That is, I've rewritten books, I've updated course curriculums, I've developed and adapted in line with feedback, constructive criticism, evidence-based, and experience. I've been humble enough to admit that I do not know it all and do not have the answers to everything, and there's always room for improvement. And I think this is key as a hypnotherapist, a hypnotherapy teacher and lecturer, and as someone that's made a lot of mistakes along the way, I certainly have. Many of which I'm very embarrassed about. But I've spoken before about, my own experiences with peer review, for example, with the really detailed feedback from lectures that I delivered at the Royal Society of Medicine, and the way I encourage feedback from clients and from students and peers. I think being humble enough to listen to it and not think we know enough already, not think we know better than everyone and anyone already. Not always is that easy, but you'll achieve more and faster with humility. I didn't really intend to record a recipe for longevity of career as a hypnotherapist. And to be honest, I feel that 21 years is still just the early days for me. I'm really excited about the next 21 years, seeing how things mature, how they develop, how they grow here. That's it today. You know, how to love what you do, how to have longevity of career in the hypnotherapy field. That's what it was all about. Subscribe to this channel. Visit my college website for details about training with us here. I'll send you my very best wishes. Goodbye for now.